Hello and welcome back to the next Cunning Craftsman Drawing with Chris. In this tutorial I'm going to be looking at waves. There's lots of different waves out there you could draw or print or paint or whatever, but I'm going to show you some very basic lines to help you draw a barreling wave. A few things you got to remember: you're going to be drawing water, so no straight lines. Get used to drawing lots of little curves, making some scratchy marks. Don't worry too much about anything. Like I always say, don't get too precious. This is just your sketchbook stuff. This is you learning. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my barreling wave with this kind of comedy ear shape, or the start of a spiral kind of shape. And then we're going to introduce this top squiggly line. That's where the water is going to be breaking. Now I'm going to draw this quite a few times in this tutorial, so don't worry if I'm going too fast. Pause it whenever you want. This will be the simplest breakdown of the wave, but just try and see what I'm doing. These lines are the top of the wave as the water rolls over to create the breaking wave, and here these curving lines are creating the barrel going inside the wave. So the water's just scooping up over. Here I'm just doing some little sketchy lines where the water starts to break before it rolls over the edge. Obviously, it's always going to be helpful if you look at some reference, so maybe a surf magazine or find on the internet. There's tons out there. Okay, just to make this even simpler, I'm going to draw you some block shapes to help you. I'm going to draw these later, so don't worry. So that comedy ear shape, that swirl, is now turned into an egg or an oval on an angle. And these two straight lines coming out, I know I said no straight lines, but these are just guides. I'm going to draw it again here for you. The oval shaped, almost egg. Two lines that come out to the right or the left, whichever way you're drawing it. The top of the wave, the breaking part, and the flat part. Now, if you just copied that into your sketchbooks really loosely, that'll give you a really nice base to draw on top of. All your key lines are there. All the directional lines are already there, as you'll see here. Now, with my darker pen, I'm going to have a bit of fun here, drawing what I imagine the breaking water to look like. In a photograph, that would be the white part where the water's breaking. And that's all sploshing around, making a huge noise. And as that white water breaks, it splashes back up. So you can have a bit of fun there as well. Again, stay nice and loose and pause whenever you want. Again, the water that's rolling over the top that's creating the breaking wave. I'm kind of drawing, they're almost like giant eyelashes. If you've been on the eye tutorial, you know what I mean. I'm going to bend that line down a little bit because the wave is actually falling off at that side. Now I'll just add the barreling lines going inside the waves, creating that beautiful tube effect. And here my favourite bit actually, shadows as usual. A nice diagonal, rugged shadow to show that it's actually a 3D object and it's going in, like a cave almost. And some shading on the top of the wave and where the water just starts to break. And you'll notice there's kind of like a line of white, a line of light. That's where the sunlight or the daylight is bouncing off the spherical shape of the water. Here I'm going to draw an even simpler version of what we've just done, but with an actual kind of bulgy shape that a wave makes. Again, there's the oval, the breaking water, the curved lines already in there. Again, don't be put off by the fact that I draw really quickly with these lines. This is all muscle memory. If you keep drawing curved lines over and over and over again whilst you're doodling or whilst you're watching TV or something, you'll be able to draw curved lines as fast as that. And there you go, just adding those little extra bits of shading again. Here's a really speeded up, obviously, part of me sketching in the first wave I drew, and I'm going to kind of double up on the shading with a red and blue pencil crayon. When you're drawing a wave, it really does come down to the shading and how light hits the object, because it really gives it a beautiful 3D form, makes it quite solid. So it might help going back to that tutorial about shading and shadows, and obviously reference photos if you've got anything to look at, any cool surf mags or surf films. Good excuse to watch a surf movie, actually. Again, another little practice you could do in your sketchbook, you could get some pieces of paper, A4 paper or whatever, and just curve it over, make some barrel shapes. Here I'm just practicing some little curved lines. No harm in that. So yeah, if you can find some paper and just curve it over and draw what you see. That's literally the shape of every wave. Curved over paper, and you get that kind of 3D feel, the basic lines of what a wave actually is. You can do it in all kinds of shapes, and then you can draw on top of that. Quite fun, really. Remember directional lines, curving up, curving down, rolling to the sides. Observing shadow is always really helpful. Will always give your work just that extra bit of pop. And when I say pop, it means it kind of stands off the page. Okay, now something different. Looking at a breaking wave head on, as if it's coming straight towards you. So you're not looking down the barrel of it, you're looking straight on. So here is the basic guidelines for that. Again, the breaking wave water, nice and sketchy and scratchy lines. This line's almost like fire, really sketchy. That's where the water's going to be breaking and falling over itself. Adding a shadow now, which is really important from this angle. Almost mimicking that curved line, and this is really important. These eyelash kind of lines again that create the form and the flow of the water. You can pause this whenever you need to. Just get those lines going in a nice curved direction. That'll make all the difference. And don't rush. If you want to spend the day just drawing curved lines, I totally recommend it. At the end of the day, you'll be a master. I'm just going to fill that in with some shadow. Again, you can use pencil crayon, felt tips, crayons, anything you need to do. Just make sure you can keep overlaying. Here are the basic key lines of what we've just drawn. You can keep repeating that over and over again. Those curved lines going up and over. Breaking it down into its simplest form. Now, if you've had a chance to do that, I'm going to keep enjoying shading now. Trying to keep the form of these lines, keep the direction going. It all helps. It all just creates that barreling effect, that 3D tube effect. I've sped this up, obviously, so you don't get bored. In fact, it might be time for a little bit of music, to be honest, because all I'm going to be doing right now is shading. Again, just have fun now with shading a little bit. Keep it loose, and remember to pause it whenever you need to. Just have fun with it. I'm just drawing you a really quick example of trying to explain what's happening to the white water as it falls over. So the water's being pushed up the wave as it moves forward. It's slowly trying to fall back and fall apart, and then as the water gets pushed over, all that white water goes over with it, creating a shadow and creating the wave. When you're trying to draw in a bit more detail, like waves and whatnot, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. And if you look closely at a photograph of a wave breaking, it should make more sense. I got carried away there. I hope from this drawing you can see how important all these shading lines are, all these curved lines to create form, to create a nice tubed effect on the wave. Again, keep practicing on those curved lines, get that muscle memory up to scratch. I'd really love to see what waves you created in this drawing. It'd be great to see some painted ones. Really looking forward to getting back out in the water myself. I hope you do too. Massive thanks again to Creative Lancashire and Fred Alders. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. Again, please send in whatever you've done. I'd love to see it. Please let me know if this has been of any help. And until next time, see you soon.